Hey everybody, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be turning up a pen today using the packing material blanks. So I brought one of these extras. They are available on my website now. There's 5 of the blanks left, but we're going to be turning this one up. And these things turned out pretty cool. Now the packing material, I think it's pretty muted. It's not like it really stands out, but I was pretty excited about the swirl patterns that we got with it. You can kind of see the packing material. It's kind of hard to show you on this camera, but pretty cool actually pen blanks, I think. So I'm excited to turn this up. I want to see what this thing looks like all polished. So I hope everybody's doing good today. We got lots of things going on in the shop. So all those blanks are available on my website. There's the 5 of the pen blanks and this big block that turned out pretty awesome actually. So those guys are listed on my website. Just wanted to mention that. What I'm going to be doing is turning, and I think I actually put on somewhere on a post, it was the wrong kit. This is actually a Junior Anthony, and I have to be honest, I have no clue where I got this, but it is a pretty cool looking kind of pen kit. I don't know if you guys can see, that's kind of a terrible view, but anyway, it's I think it's like a titanium is the plating or something. I don't know. It's pretty cool looking though, and I thought it would look good with the kind of, there's a lot of stuff going on in these blanks. I had to look it up for the listing, and we put Blurple, Midnight Purple, I think maybe, something. There might be a purple. I think we used orange and antique gold, and I think there's one other, I can't even remember. There's 4 colors actually. So I don't know. These things are pretty interesting. There's lots of stuff going on. So I'm excited to see them, fully polished. So all the colors and everything, all the effects like pop out. Should be pretty cool. And I think it'll go pretty well with that kit, hopefully. I don't know. I just kind of picked it. So in other news, I have already gotten spherical on the Star Wars blank. So this thing is coming along really nice. I was really crossing my fingers because I was hoping I could get the sphere jig thing done before the stream today, and I did. And I'm really happy with this. There's only a tiny little nib left. I did a pretty good job of getting everything, like 99% of this thing turned up. You can't see inside it. I even tried hitting it with denatured alcohol, and it's still too cloudy because of the sanding. But I'm looking forward to getting this thing done and up and auctioned so we can raise some money for MS, and proceeds are going to Scott. He's doing the biking thing, a virtual bike race. It's like 100 kilometers. And so I'm going to be donating whatever we get from the auction once I get this thing finished up. All of that's going to go towards his fundraising. So kind of doing it in conjunction with him. Pretty cool little thing. It's always fun when you can, raise money for charity for a good cause and make something while you're doing it. It's like, okay, win-win. So be looking for that. I'm also shooting a video on this. So a video will go up, and then I'm going to auction it on Instagram. So it'll be one of those where you put bids in the comments section on my Instagram page, and hopefully this sucker will go to a good home. So anyway, let's see. The other thing, I don't know if you guys noticed when you came to the channel, 50,000 subscribers. Are you kidding? It snuck up on me. Actually, Doug and Jen had to send me messages. They're like, "Hey, you hit 50,000." So I'm pretty excited. That's huge. That's like a lot of that is a lot of subscribers. So I appreciate all you guys who have subscribed to my channel. It's been been doing it for a few years now, but it's been fun. I think you might, I don't know, a lot of you guys probably didn't see, some of you might have seen some earlier videos where I was doing like a certain amount of subscriber, video, like a celebration thing. And I just remember one of the things when I started on YouTube, I didn't really, just because I didn't use YouTube for anything except for like checking something, I would look at a video and then just leave. I wasn't like actually part of a community on YouTube. And so when I started my channel and started kind of getting involved with the community, I was blown away at the support. I didn't really, I guess it didn't dawn on me. I didn't expect YouTube to be a social platform kind of thing. Like I said, just before I started my channel, I didn't really use YouTube that much, and it turned out so, it was just amazing. The people, other creators as well as viewers So I really appreciate all you guys' support. Hopefully we'll get another 50,000 and I can get a play button sometime. But I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm very happy at 50,000. I honestly never would have expected I would get my channel to 50,000. That's kind of crazy. So I appreciate it. And we'll be doing a video. That snuck up on me. I really thought that I had like another month. That snuck up on me, but I'm going to be doing, I have a project in mind to kind of celebrate. It's going to be kind of a fun project that I've wanted to do for a while. So I'm waiting, but the problem is I'm waiting on stuff. I'm kind of working with some other people, waiting on something to get a casting made and do all this stuff. So we're going to kind of halt the celebration for just a little bit. Once I get all the stuff, we'll make the video. And then there's going to be, I'm going to have giveaways. I decided to do it a couple different things this time. I'm going to be giving away a piece that I've made. Actually, it's that pedestal bowl. I decided that's a really cool piece and it's big, and I thought, not everybody turns that's a subscriber. So I'm going to have that as a giveaway. And then also I'm going to have like a big package of blanks. It's going to be all kinds of different turning blanks. So I thought that way the turners can get involved or, win a prize that's actually blanks. And then people that don't really turn or, don't have access, can't do anything with a blank, can win a prize that's already turned up. So we'll be doing that. Like I said, I'm not, to be honest, I don't know when that's going to happen. It's going to be in the next few weeks, actually. So like not next week, but a couple weeks probably from now. So anyway, let's quit talking. Let's go over to the lathe. Well, before I do that, I want to see who's all here. There's lots of people here. There's already 50 people here. Nice. Jeff, I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. Anna's here. Nice. And Doug. And Brad's here. Nicholas. Sweet. Anna, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. That's awesome. And Carrie's here. Let's see here. Who else? And Saint Bigal. And Brian, TBC Bushings. Nice. And Yak's here. What's up, man? Me and Yak were talking we were yakking at each other a couple days ago. For like 2 hours, just talking about all kinds of good stuff. Yak's going to be starting up his streaming soon, so make sure to head over to his channel and subscribe. He does like all kinds of wood turning stuff, and he's been moving into a new shop, and he's getting things set up, so make sure to check that out. He's going to start up the stream, and it'll be pretty cool. And Mike McEwen's here, and Alex, nice. Exotic Tones. OJ's here. What's up, man? How's it going? Sweet. And Dave's here. Terry. Awesome. Well, welcome. If I missed you, I apologize. I didn't want to scroll to the beginning. Let's get onto the lathe and start turning this pen up. So there's the view. I think I got a decent view. I still haven't climbed up the gigantic ladder to get the to turn that light. I'm gonna show you guys what's going on with this light, just so you guys kind of know. So let's see if I can do this. It's going to get a little bit kind of bumpy here, but so this light, it just like no matter where I put it, it used to be kind of like crooked across the lathe, like kind of going like this, and it creates a like a shiny spot on the bed, and also on the headstock thing, that cone. And so I thought, oh, I'll move it so it's not right above the lathe. Well, that didn't fix anything. It's not too bad from this side, but when I put the camera on the other side, it's horrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. It's sitting, in front of the lathe. I'm going to turn it this way and see if I can get some better. No glares coming back. All right. So one thing. Oh, I did switch views. Okay, good. Thought I just did all that and didn't even switch views. So one thing I'm going to do before we begin. So I have a mark on this. I don't know if you guys can see it. See that little kind of triangle thing? The problem is the minute I start turning, that's going to go away. And I don't think it's really going to matter aligning this. I don't think once we're done turning it, I don't know that it's going to make any difference really. But in case it might, what I do is I grab a Sharpie. And I like these ones with the two points. This one's got a really thin point thing on it. And so what I'll do is, let's get this to where you can see it. I'm going to break this open, split it kind of in half, and then I'm just going to put a mark on each side inside the tube. That way, when I go to put it together, I know I have an alignment mark that I'm not going to turn away. So we got that. I got a brand new cutter on my Easy Wood tool. All right, so on the lathe we got a dead center, and that's going to drive the blank. And then we got a live center, and then we're going to be using TBC bushings. Brian, you see TBC bushings in the chat. This is where I get my bushings from. He does a great job with these things, makes awesome ones. You can get them from him, and he can even do custom ones. Or Turner's Warehouse has them as well. I would say that Brian's are a little bit nicer. Very good at machining them. So most of mine, I've gotten a couple from Turner's Warehouse just because I was ordering something, but most of mine I get from Brian. All right, so we'll get some glasses on. I'm going to get my phone going with the YouTube here so I can kind of check out the comments. I opened my channel already. All right, so we got chat, we got power. I think I'm just gonna move this gigantic cone out of the way because it's really not gonna do anything. Turn a fan on behind me and just blow the dust a different direction. All right, so we got it turned up and ready to rock. So you guys can see, it looks like. Yeah, so we're ready to go. Let me get this light out of my face. Look at those shavings fly. Man, the fires around here are so bad. Luckily, like, I'm not in danger of, the fire itself, but the smoke is absolutely horrible. It's been that way for like a month. We've had just like absolutely horrible, just you walk outside and it's smoky. Eventually I kind of got used to it. And then the last couple of days it's actually been clear because the wind changed direction. And it was like night and day. You're like, oh yeah, that's what fresh air smells like. It's been kind of crazy. And then there's before it was like California, like there's like 3 or 4 fires that are pretty close, generally close to us in California. And the wind just blows the smoke directly into our valley. Then another fire started up that's like close to us. I'm like, man, this summer's been terrible for fires. We were doing it pretty good. Like there wasn't that many fires at the beginning, and then they all just kind of everything caught on fire all at once in like July, August. All right, we got it all rounded up. Nice and round. Man, this thing is looking pretty cool. I'm gonna get the camera in so you guys are looking right at it. This will kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like, somewhat. Let's see here. Drop the thing down. We'll zoom her in. Still seems fuzzy. How about that? I can't spin it. There we go. So it's looking pretty cool. Let's see. Is it? Let me try and get a slightly different view angle on this thing. There we go. That looks a little bit better. So it's looking pretty cool. Like I said, the packing materials themselves don't like really super stand out. But if you look at it, here they are. You can kind of see they make little squiggles here and there. I think that they would be a little bit more apparent in a more translucent blank. That might be kind of cool. We didn't really do any translucent blanks, but the thing was, because of the way that packing material is, it really it kind of aids in the color swirl. Like it just really mixed it up without having to do anything. Like there's no technique involved. You just pour it on that stuff, and it worked really well. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's kind of an interesting material. There's a couple different ways that you can utilize it, you know. All right, let's continue. Let's continue here. Oh yeah, fire sweeping through where you used to live. That's terrifying. Getting a little bit high. There we go. Yeah. They're turning nicely. That's for certain. I usually put a little bit of a kind of a camber on my blanks when I'm turning them. So we got maybe about a 16th or 3/30 seconds left to go here. All right, getting ever so close. Ever so close here. Kind of taking a step back. I find with a lot of things when you're turning, if you're always right up in front of it and maybe even at kind of an odd angle to the piece, a lot of times it's kind of hard to tell what's really going on, even though you can see the shaping of it somewhat. Sometimes it helps to kind of just take a step back, turn it off, and just kind of look at the profile, see where you really need to do more work, get a different angle on it, basically. Just about there on this half. stop it, take a look at the ends there, make sure that they're not, got a little bit more to take off here. That one's pretty close. Oh, that didn't work. Come on, focus. This thing just does not want to focus on the right thing today. There we go. Just a tiny, tiny bit proud on that one. That side too. Kind of take a little bit of material off kind of in here just to kind of straighten it out. We're just about there. Zoom you guys out just a little bit there. Oh. All right, I'm going to take a quick pass with my square guy. Sometimes I find that I can get a little bit of a smoother cut. With that one, and then start sanding at a higher grit. The better you can make the surface, the less sanding you're going to have to do. All right, that's looking pretty good. Got a few, I might take another pass down there. Got a few bumps here and there. Probably start sanding at about 240. Let me just take a quick pass on this end. There we go. All right. Now, the one, I guess, drawback in a sense is if you're doing between centers, you're only doing half a blank or one blank at a time. The thing is, though, you're more accurate. So I'd rather, even if I was using a mandrel, I started just using the side closest to the headstock because it was more accurate that way. So to me, it wasn't really, I wasn't losing anything anyway. And I would rather have a more accurate, true mounting system. Keeps the blank from wobbling. So I'm going to cut some sandpaper up real quick here. 240. I think we can start at 240. Might even be able to start at like 400, but we'll just see how we're looking here. Got a few tool marks. 240 was a good choice. All of the little bands that you see there are kind of tool marks, bumps, ridges that I need to flatten out. So this blank is totally resin, so we don't need to, put a finish or seal it with anything. And the cardboard, that packing material was cardboard, but a lot of times cardboard tends to kind of soak up resin, casting resins a lot of times, so I don't really find that you really need to do anything to it. You're good to go just, buffing and polishing that stuff. Plus it's not like there's a lot of cardboard, it's like little side edges of it that you're seeing in there. So it's not really that big of a deal. Now, if you did want to seal it up a little bit, you could hit it with one coat of the super fast thin. You could hit, just douse it with that real quick and then sand it off, basically, but it'll soak into that cardboard. Like I said, I don't really think that it's even necessary though. All right, that's looking pretty good, I think. Nice and smooth. All right, so let's move up to 400. Where are we at here? Let's see here. Oh, it's somebody's, it's your birthday, Hodgepodge? Nice. My mom's is in September. Nice. Is NFL coming back? Why do I use a robust tool rest? Because I like them. I don't have any affiliation or have any thoughts about the company necessarily, but these tool rests are pretty good. They're hardened steel, and they just work good. But I mean, it's a tool rest, you know, like whatever. They all work pretty well, but I do kind of like the way that those work. They work pretty good. They do the job nicely. They hold the tool. But there's no reason necessarily, like in particular, that I use them. I still use my Laguna. The Laguna is a 12-inch, and it's basically the same thing. Oh, that's pretty. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Let me turn the lathe off too. So here's my. Let me just put it down here. This is my Laguna one that came with the lathe. It's kind of the same idea. And this thing works fine too. It works good. But I needed some thinner ones. And Robust has a bunch of different sizes. It was just kind of an easy way to go, you know. They had what I wanted. So we got 400 grit going now. I probably could have switched over and started wet sanding at this point, but the way that I used to do pens, I would dry sand them up to 400, and I've gotten really good results. A lot of, you know, we've talked about on the live stream. I've been talking about different sanding and polishing methods, and I got to be honest, my pen turning one, I don't need any help with that. It works perfect every time. Where I run into problems is on larger pieces, and I think, you know, it's just there's a lot more area that you have to cover, and it's going to take longer. I think that's my issue in general with that. But for pens, I got this down to a science. So I just dry sand up to 400 with the Abranet, and then switch over to the not micro mesh, the micro mesh like stuff, the Zona. And then we're good to go. So let's pull out our wet sanding apparatus. Trusty ShamWow. Cover the bed. I'm gonna need to go, and I always, every single time, I need to go change the water out in my cup because it's gross. I'm telling you, I really wish I had a sink out here. Not a big deal. I'll be right back. Man, I'll tell you what, pens are so fast to turn. I've been turning big stuff lately. It takes a little bit longer than a pen. Although even that sphere didn't really take that long. I mean, I probably only have 2 hours in it maybe, at the most, at this point. Not too much, really. And that's with filming, you know. All right, so do a little bit of Zona. This is the green. I usually just do the green and the gray on pens. You could do the blue. I don't really see a big need to go much higher than that if you're gonna buff it, because the buffing wheels, you're gonna take it way higher than the buffing wheels would be, you know. So you're kind of going backwards if you keep going higher with micro mesh or Zona. So I just do green, gray, maybe blue. Depends on how I feel. And then buffing wheels. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get this thing polished, you know, do the wet sanding, and then I'm going to set it aside, turn the other one, and then we'll buff both of them at the end. I just find that to be kind of a little bit easier. Get everything done that needs to be done on the lathe, then set it aside and move on to the next one. All right, that ought to be good. If you want to make sure that you're doing, you know, a really good job, sand with the lathe on one grit and then go sideways. And then the next grit goes, you know, sand with the lathe on. That way you can tell when you've gotten the marks out, you know, the radial scratches. You'll get the radial scratches out by doing it with the lathe off. And you can visually tell when you've gotten all of the previous grit scratches out. I'm not going to worry about it. I think that it should be fine. But if you want to be absolutely sure, that's the best way to do it. And so I tried doing a little bit of research. From what I found, the grit equivalent for the green paper is somewhere around 750, I think. And then for this one, I think it's around 1150. I don't know, you know, 3M doesn't really give you a grit. They give you a micron level. This is 3M makes this stuff. So I don't know. I found a chart and it approximated stuff. So I don't know how exact that is, but it does seem to be about correct. I think it's probably in the neighborhood there. Oh, my chat keeps getting stuck. Can I start over? All I did was I turned it. Turkey season, oh man. Yeah, hunting season's coming up here. Never was much of a hunter. All right, I'm going to call that good. We'll do a little bit of blue here. Why not? Just for a couple seconds. And then the best thing to do is really inspect it very well. The high-powered light and all that kind of stuff. That's the best method. And so what I'm going to do, so this is a super bright light. I got that from Woodturner's Wonders. And it lights it up. And then you get down and get that raking angle, and you can see the scratch pattern. And if you got deep scratches, you know, things that seem a little bit deeper than all the rest, then you got more work to do, most likely. Looks like a scratch. It's tough to tell if I got a scratch there or if that's part of that packing material stuff. A lot of the packing material things kind of look like scratches because they're so thin. So I'm just going to kind of scuff at those with the green. And you know what? I might have actually kind of scratched it. When creating a dust cloud in my shop with that sphere, I might have had a particle of something on the paper that I actually used to wipe that off. I'm going to give this another round with the green and then gray. I can't tell for sure what exactly was going on in there. I think I'll do a little bit of this too. Best thing to do is just if you see problems, try and take care of them. You know, skip down a couple steps, a couple grits, and then just kind of try and get that out. A lot of times if it's just one scratch or something like that, you can usually just kind of sand it out a little bit. You don't have to do the whole blank again. But better off just kind of starting, getting everything out and then moving forward. All right, let's move up to the gray again. Yeah, darker colors tend to show scratches. Black is the worst. I mean, it literally, you have to get every single scratch out. Realistically, I'm not that worried about this one. Most of the time, the pearls don't really. You're good to go. You know, once I go through the green and the gray, the buffing wheels usually take care of any problems on pen blanks. But I want to make sure that I do as good a job as I can on this one. We'll just give it a few seconds here. Hey Vicky, how's it going? All right, I think that's most likely good. Let's dry it off again. Pull out the big light. Oh, no. That's not good. I think I still have a few scratches in there that are going lengthwise. You got to kind of watch it when you're doing it just by hand sideways. A lot of times you end up pressing harder, it seems like. And it may take a little while longer to get those things out of there on the next grit. You don't want to press hard ever with any of them, but I think I'm just going to get a new piece of gray because I'm thinking that might be my problem here. That's another tip. Don't be cheap on the sandpaper. Just get a new piece. It's just not worth it. But I don't have any pre-made right now, so I got to go over here and cut some out. I buy the Zona. It comes in 8.5 by 11 sheets, which I kind of like. And I just cut a little piece out, use that, and then use it till it's gone. And throw it away when I'm done with it. I know you see there's a lot of them here. I tend to not throw them away, but right away. Snails. There's a lot of hunters here. My parents weren't into it or anything, so it was kind of more problematic than anything for me to get started. I went with some friends a couple times. There we go. That's looking a lot better. That's looking nice. Okay, I'm going to call that good. Let's move on to the second half. All right, so I got my little mark there. The big one goes where it meets up the front. Where'd my mark go? There's my mark. Get in the hole. There we go. Let's turn this thing off. Okay. All right, ready to rock. Let's do the second half here. So we got the cap done so far. This will be the pen body. Hunt cheese. Oh, I like cheese. Yes. Zach Attack. Thanks, Melvin. I appreciate it. Woo! That's awesome. Can't use a crossbow? Huh. I don't know. I don't use mandrels, hodgepodge. Mandrels, I've never liked them. They never run true, and so you end up getting a wobble in your blank. I like turning between centers with these bushings. And I kind of mentioned that at the beginning. You know, there is a little bit of a drawback. You can't do both of them at the same time, but what I ended up starting to do before I switched to these, I would only use the half of the mandrel that was closest to the headstock, because it was kind of the more, like, if your mandrel's out of, you know, if it's wobbling, the further end is going to wobble the most. So I would only turn one blank at a time anyway, because it was the least wobbly area. And so now at this point, like, I won't even use a mandrel. They're terrible. The big reason I switched is I could never get CA finishes to work. I would always sand through one little spot on a blank, and I was like, how is that even possible? And what was happening is the blank is literally wobbling just slightly, and it would sand through one part of the blank, one area, more than the other. And once I switched to this, I never had a problem with CA finishes again. So I flat out won't use a mandrel for pen turning. I don't think that they're just kind of junk. Even with a mandrel saver and all that other stuff, nothing really helped. All right, I'm gonna move you guys just a little bit, because this is kind of a crazy. You guys are kind of right in my way. I'm turning, kind of like leaning away from the camera. So let me just move you guys right there. Hopefully we'll be good to go. All right. And then, so this is the front end, this is the tail. All right, we got it trued up. Let's stop it, take a peek at what's going on here. Yeah, this one's looking good too. Good color choices. So there's like Blurple. I'm gonna go pull up. I can't remember what exact colors. It's in the listing on my website, but I got it written down here. I want to look it up. There's 4 colors. I know that. We got. Let's see here. That's not it. Packing materials. We got Blurple, Antique Gold, Plum Crazy, and oh yeah, Maroon. Maroon in there somewhere. Huh. All kinds of stuff going on in these guys. Maroon. I don't really see a whole lot of the maroon. I'm not sure where that is exactly. Might be this stuff. Tough to tell, but man, wicked colors. I'm digging them. All right, put my goggles back on. Safety glasses. Telling you, one of my favorite tools, the air hose. You'll get those shavings right off your lathe. It's a little bit messier option, but it's quick. We're getting there. We're getting there. Helps me out a lot. One thing that I really like is to have a super bright light. Usually I do this when I'm, if I'm not doing a live stream. The problem is it blows the camera way out. But I mean, really, that's, the best way to go is to have a bright light on. I also need to clean my safety glasses because I can't see out of them, but, one thing at a time. Cobalt blue, blood. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, we did maroon. We kind of made a mix of the blue and the red. Kind of a, I don't know. Pretty fun. Sorry, I was looking at comments. All right, so we're just about down on that end. It's kind of a fat pin right now, though, so I want to kind of take some of this down. All right, just a little bit proud on that end. This end is just about there. And we got some smoothing out to do. All right, I think that's probably pretty close. I'm going to pull out this square guy. Take a few passes with it. A lot of people just like turning with the square one. I find I usually personally get kind of, I guess I'm just more used to the round cutter for shaping and all that. But the square one will do a great job too. Then you don't need to use that as a second tool. I think one of the nice things though, really, if you had to pick one, if you could only pick one carbide tool, I think that about that length, let's see here. I don't know how long that is. I can measure it, but you know, like a medium-sized length round cutter is probably the best. If you could only have one tool, that's the one to pick, because it can do pretty much anything. You could do any kind of turning with that. Let's see, how long is this thing? They call this the Easy Wood Tools version. This one is the mini finisher, they call this one. It's about 16 inches long, 15 to 16, somewhere around there. That would be my recommendation. It's such a versatile tool that you do all kinds of stuff with it. They all have their uses, you know. All right, so that's good. Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. All right, so let's start sanding. I don't even think I have to go with 240 on this one. Let's see. We'll start at 400. See what we got. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. Get you right there. That ought to be pretty good, huh? All right, so let's see how we did. Felt like it was pretty good. Not too bad. We got a few tool marks there, but so that's the difference. If you can get the, you know, compared to that first blank, if you can get the surface smooth, I mean, I could have probably started sanding with the green, you know, the green Zona paper on this one. But I'll keep going. We'll just get this thing nice and definitely smoothed out, perfect, at the 400, and then we'll just move on to the wet sanding. All right, I think that's probably pretty good. I'm going to take kind of a peek at this thing with the light. Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's do some wet sanding. So I think they call this mini. That might be what you were saying. I actually use this for all kinds of stuff, not just pens. I mean, it's a good one for pens, but it's actually a pretty good length for a lot of things. You know, I was using this thing for when I was turning the sphere, to start the sphere out. It's fine, you know. It doesn't have a lot of reach. Like, you're not going to do things where you got to kind of hang it way over the tool rest. It's not good for like hollowing necessarily, but I mean, even like kind of relatively short hollowing, like boxes and stuff, this is fine. That's enough length. Pretty fun. Life always gets in the way. Ain't that the truth? I know. I hear that. All right, ShamWow time. And we got our little, I'm gonna get a new piece of green also. This piece of gray was fine, but you know, I think I'm actually gonna, let's clean up. Like I was saying, you really don't want to save sandpaper that you don't know about. So I'm gonna toss all those guys because I just don't really know. And then I'm gonna cut myself a new piece of green. Start out fresh. The other thing about it is it usually just goes faster. You know, if you just get it and grab a fresh piece, it doesn't take as long usually because it's a nice fresh one. All right, so let's wet this down, get all the 400 grit scratches or any grit from the 400 off of there. So at this point, all we're doing is taking the previous grit scratches out. I want to get rid of those 400 grit, put in the 750 or whatever the screen one is. So once you've taken out the 400 grit scratches, you can move on. All right, let's see what it's looking like there. Oh yeah, it's looking good. That's good to go. And then we'll move up to the 1150. Now, a lot of people like just going up all the way to the highest grit of the either micro mesh or these Zona papers. Chad Schimmel actually uses, he just goes with the Zona papers a lot of times rather than buffing. I find that I get better results with the buffing wheels. For some reason, I'm just better at them. But either way, it's all the same thing. You just got to pick whichever method works best for you. I find the buffing wheels give me the most consistently good results. And so that's why I do it that way. So I got a little bit of something going on right there. Something there. All right, so let's do this for a little bit longer here. All right, I think that's pretty good. Ready for buffing. Pop this guy off the lathe. Michael's asking about how fast I'm sanding. So I had the lathe on it. I actually had it a little bit high that time. I usually put it on around 300. I just kind of didn't really look at it that time. Somewhere 3 to 500 on pen blanks. You should be good. I find that the slower you go, you definitely want to slow down a little bit. If you're wet sanding, you can probably get away with a little bit more speed. The main thing is you don't want to, you don't want it to heat up. The other thing is you also don't want a bunch of the particles getting kind of trapped, like a slurry forming, and you end up kind of burnishing, like burnishing the plastic with other plastic particles. So you want to kind of, if you're dry sanding, keep that paper clear. And I definitely recommend going, pretty slow if you're dry sanding, just to make sure you're not kind of scratching the blank up. And then, wet sanding, it still works better slow. Another thing to think about with sanding, why it tends to work better, is what can happen is, you guys have probably all heard of hydroplaning in your car. You get going a certain speed on a wet road and your tires lose grip. And you can kind of like float. Basically, it's like planing, over the ground. That kind of happens with sanding too. And so the faster it's going, a lot of times you'll lose contact with the piece because of it's basically hydroplaning. So slower is better usually. It just works better in general. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get you guys in. So I got my buffing. This is the Beal buffing system, the 3-on lathe mandrel. They also have ones where it's just like a single buffing wheel, and they have a little mandrel that just goes in the Morse taper, which that's actually not a bad way to go either. If you're doing pens, this is a great way in like smaller things. This is a great way to go. If you plan to do kind of larger things, this is also a Beal setup. It's a taper and this little kind of adapter thing. That's not too bad because you can do one wheel at a time, especially if you have a larger lathe with a decent swing. You can fit a bigger thing, piece under there. You're a little bit limited by, size on something like this, and even running it on a mini lathe, the bed is pretty close there. You got to kind of watch out. Sometimes I got to kind of work on the outside of the wheel a little bit more than I'd like to. The bottom quarter is really where you want to be. So it's probably a good idea to blow. I've been, that sphere kind of got dust all over the place. So I'm actually going to kind of blow off my wheels. Just make sure there's no wood dust in them. And then I'm going to put a mask on. Let's see, are you guys seeing a good view? Yeah, not too bad. Let's see, do I need to do anything else? No. Okay. So, do the triple E first. TRIPOL. You know what's funny? So there's like a paste product called Triple E, like EEE. And I just realized that stuff actually has triple E buffing compound in it. It literally is triple E. So technically you could use that. I actually know some people that use that as a buffing compound. How fast are we going here? And I got my lathe going around 1,000, 1,200, somewhere around there. I don't know exactly because it doesn't have a digital readout. There's a little dial indicator thing down there, and it's somewhere in that neighborhood. The Beal buffing wheels are 8 inches wide diameter, so you don't need to go as fast as like if you had a 6-inch wheel. Those you'd want to go a little bit faster, and then the actual speed of the outside of the wheel would be about the same. I don't know what the conversion would be, but And I like to just do this by hand on at first. I don't know, I'm kind of weird. I also have this little doohickey. And you got to be careful. You don't want to plunge the front of this thing into your wheel. But as long as you're just working on the bottom half, there's nothing wrong with this. It works fine. I've never had any problems. But for some reason, I like doing it by hand at first. So I'm kind of weird. It's like a mental thing. I feel like I get better results if I do it this way. So I do. Oh, I dropped it. My hands are slippery. Maybe I should put it on the mandrel instead. I have no clue which side I was doing. My hands were so dry that it just flew right out of my hand. It's okay, don't worry. It landed on soft concrete. Kind of surprised. My hands are so dry. I don't usually do that. That doesn't happen very often. Because I hold it pretty well. I got it underneath and on the side, and these things just, my fingertips are slippery. So it might be better just to use a mandrel for you to avoid that. I don't know. I'm going to leave it in your hands. Probably not good to leave it in mine. You guys, yeah, you guys are okay. Scoot that back. Oh, and it also helps to have a light on. Oh. Helps to have a battery in your light. The buffing wheel is a really good place to have another high-powered light. Most people probably are just going to use, you know, the same lathe that they were using to turn. It's much nicer, and I actually like having a light coming forward, kind of like angling right here. Problem is this thing isn't long enough. I don't know if you can see. Can you guys see? No, not really. So I have a light up there, but the little cord thing, you know, the little arm isn't really long enough. But I like to have, realistically, I would rather have a light kind of coming over here. It just helps. I always have good luck seeing what's going on with the blank from a light from behind like that. You can get a decent look at it from here, I guess, but I really like having a high power light a lot more. And flip it. Like I said, always working on the bottom half, keeping that front edge away. Another way to do it is you could just hold it, you know, this way and do the front. That's a little bit less sketchy, but like really, there are 1,000 things that are way more dangerous, in my opinion, than this. That you do every day on the lathe. So, like, even if you did jam it in there, like, you know, I don't know really what's going to happen, except you're probably going to lose the piece. So I don't personally think, but, you know, you got to do whatever you're comfortable with. And then I do a different, you know, so I've been doing it like lengthwise, right? Like along the length of it. And I just got done sanding radial. So now I'm going to actually flip it, and we're going to do the other direction on the white diamond wheel. And that's kind of keeping in track with, like I was saying, really, I think with solid surfaces, I think you kind of get the best results by kind of doing sanding and buffing, polishing, all that stuff, different directions if possible. A lot of times you can kind of get away with the just radial scratches by moving it. You're kind of diagonally sanding a little bit, you know. But then I also come back and do it lengthwise on the white diamond. For some reason, again, I don't know if this is mental or just how I feel about it, it just seems to look better buffed this way on pen blanks. I don't know. It's kind of the final polish. I don't know if it has something to do with the way I'm doing it or if it literally does look better that way. That's what I do. All right, so I'm actually going to go over to the lathe, my other one, and look under a high-powered light. Yeah, that's looking good. Okay, so I think we're good there. Move on to the. Oh, I almost tripped on my lathe. I'm okay. Move on to the other side. Can't see the chat right now. Sorry, guys. Yes, I'm going to do it again with my hands. It's just the way I like doing it. And I'll flip it. Okay, and then put it on this thing. Okay, and then flip it. Yeah, this thing's looking pretty cool. It's blank. There's a lot of, I'm telling you, the color swirl action because of that packing material is wicked. That is really not what I didn't expect. I didn't think about that when we were casting it, really. I kind of had an idea that you would see the packing material and it would create some cool designs. Which, I mean, it's very subtle. You can see that, but I think what's more cool about this is how it kind of mixes your colors up so well. Pretty cool. Without having to like do anything. And finish up this way. And then I'm going to go back over to the other lathe and we're going to do car polish as well. I've been finding that for the last step really makes it pop. One thing I want to start kind of looking into, I've said before that I don't really like waxes. And when I said that, I was thinking like a Carnauba wax, because this 3-on set, it's 3 wheels technically, and there's a wax wheel, and I finally just got rid of the wax wheel because I never used it. I don't really like waxes on things that you're going to handle because it tends to just break down quick. But I've been kind of learning a little bit more about microcrystalline wax, like Renaissance wax. There's a couple other ones. And actually that stuff might not be a bad way to go as a last step too. It's not really going to polish anything, but it may shine it up and it may resist like fingerprints possibly. I don't know. I don't know if it's like marketing hype, or if it actually does kind of work. But I have Renaissance wax, so I'm gonna try that out one of these days. Do some experiments. Might not be the worst way to go, who knows? Okay, so let me turn you guys around here so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Pretty far away, huh? There. So what I'm going to do is set up, I have a buffing wheel that goes using that other little Beal setup thing that goes over here. Car polish works pretty well too. That's not a bad way to go. And there's also plastic polishes. People, use those. I never really found that I got excellent results using those typically. I don't know why. But it is possible. And a lot of this stuff, I'm saying that I didn't get good results. It's just because I don't really know how to do it the best way, Let's see here. I gotta change things here. This is the wrong wheel. Hold on real quick, guys. Gotta trade this one out. This guy. All right, so I'm just using that taper, the mandrel, the Morse taper thing, and then I have a little. I actually got this. I actually like this string buff. This is called a string buff. It's a little bit different. And I got this from McMaster Car, and I actually like this one better than the Beal's. Got some string buffs, but they're super soft. Like they're way too soft, I think. I didn't really like them as much. The McMaster Car one seems to work pretty darn good with the polish that I'm using. And sometimes, different polishes may work better or not with, certain wheels. It all gets crazy. I don't know. A lot of times you just need to find whatever way works the best for you. Try a couple things out and go with the one that gives you best results. All right, so we got our little string buff. I got Meguiar's 105. I tried the 205. I don't know. Honestly, the 105 seems to work better. Doesn't really make sense to me. The 205 is a higher, it's like a final, like a scratch remover type thing. Should be higher grit in a sense than 105, but for some reason 105 works better. So that's what I'm going to go with. And all I do is I just apply a little bit of the polish to the blank itself with a paper towel. And mix it up a little bit. And this thing always crusts over. There we go. All right, so, and I'm going to get this thing going about 1700, 1500. And I'm just going to apply a little bit to the blank itself. And then do it like this. And it seems to give a little bit more polish, a little pop, Yeah, it's looking good. We'll get the other one going here. Hopefully you guys can see what I was doing there somewhat. Okay. Shiny. Okay, it's time for assembly. Who's ready for assembly? I am. Now I'm going to swing you guys over to the drill press. In a second here. Man, I need a drink. That's another thing, these fires, my throat's been like dry or scratchy from breathing smoke. Don't like it. I'm sure all the people that are in the danger zone don't like it too much either. All right, so we got a little bit of dust over here. So I'm gonna just clean that up real quick. I'm gonna put some gloves on. I like putting gloves on after I get done polishing and doing everything with a blank so that I just make sure I don't put any fingerprints or scratches in it from my hands. All right, so this is a junior gent kit, or junior series, two-piece. I picked the one that I had was a fountain pen. It could literally be either one. Just depends on which thing you put in there. Okay, I think I found I think that was. I gotta hold on real quick. I gotta look in here. So I had my marks to line them back up. There's one. Kind of hard to see. Having trouble finding my mark. It's kind of dark inside there. Dusty too. These were the nickel-plated tubes also, and they're a little bit darker. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see a mark. I think I got it now. All right. So I marked on the inside of the tube with a Sharpie. And so this is how it lines up. Now frankly, on this pen, I don't really think there's really nothing to match up necessarily. I'm not going to worry about it. I do want to see what this looks like matched up. But that to me doesn't look any different than that or this, so I'm not even going to worry about that. Let's see here. So, where's my kit? Okay, so let's lay all the components. Let's get you guys kind of a little bit closer up in here. Let's get up in here. See what's going on. Lay the parts out. Okay. So in the kit we have, like I said, I used the nickel-plated tubes just to make sure that the tube didn't show. Got a few components that I don't really need right now yet. So I'll show you guys the parts here. So here's the top, the cap nib thing. I don't know. Is that showing up? It's kind of cool. It's got a neat little kind of detail on there. And it's I think they call it black titanium or something. Titanium. It's kind of gunmetal-ish, but it is a little bit of a fancier plating. There's the end part. Again, you got that little detail thing. And then here's the meat and potatoes. All right, so there's the nib. I think I might be blowing you guys out. Let me turn this down. Doesn't seem like it's focusing very well. There we go. And so these kits, technically, I mean, it's a fountain pen, but it could be a roller ball just as easily. You just get rid of that and put the roller ball nib in there. That's really the only difference. That's another reason why I like the junior series kits, because technically you could go, they could be anything as long as you get the right components. And they actually, some of the kits actually sell ones where it has a fountain pen nib and a rollerball nib. All right, so I lost a part. Losing pieces. I don't want to lose my pieces. All right, so like I said, I'm not particularly worried about which parts go where. I'm gonna have to move you guys actually to the other side of me. Hold on real quick. I gotta extend my cord here. Gotta get my cord going, because my arm is gonna block every single time I pull down the thing. It's gonna block it. Okay, that'll be a little bit better. That's pretty tight. I'm going to blow off. There's some kind of plating that kind of seemed to peel back in there. I just blew between the kit part and the blank. You can get that stuff. Sometimes it'll kind of peel back and then like stick up between the two pieces. Not very fun. All right, so we got that part, and then I'm thinking like that. Okay, so we got our cap. That's looking pretty good. And then let me just make sure that I got the right parts here. There's the bottom. Okay. And the nib. I'm going to take the fountain nib part out here for obvious reasons. All right. Now, one thing before we move on here. I'm going to get some of that Renaissance wax out. And I'm going to wax up. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can. I'm going to put a little bit of this wax on these threads, because nothing is more annoying than the sound of squeaky threads on a pen kit. That sounds great. That doesn't sound awesome. So we're going to fix that real quick. Let's put that like that. And just put a little bit of wax on those threads, and they will be silent. Silent but deadly. Okay. So let's wipe this guy off a little bit here. I got a microfiber towel that I'm using. It's like super fine quality, plushy. Okay, we got that guy. And let's wipe this guy off. All right, and then, oh yeah, that's a pretty fancy pen right there, guys. Fancy. Okay, I'm going to get you guys a shot of it. I'm going to pull the camera over into the lighted area where I can actually see everything. So real quick, I'm going to switch to the main view so you don't have to watch the camera get dragged across the shop. I'm just going to put you on the intro thing real quick. And then we'll bring the camera over to a good spot. And we'll get you guys a look at this thing. It's looking pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Rich colors, definitely. Okay, so we got our thing right here. And go get the pen. Oh, I gotta switch the camera views real quick. Here we go, here we go. All right. And back over here. Here it is, woo! Let me get a light too, hold on. Seems to help to have a little bit of a light. Okay, here we go. Look at that. That's pretty fancy. What do you guys think about the kit choice? That looks pretty good with it, I think. It's like royalty. So I don't think Turner's Warehouse actually has this kit. I have no clue where I got it. But they have the other one that's similar to this that I like is the Junior Aaron, and Turner's Warehouse has that. This one's called an Anthony, Junior Anthony. But man, not too bad. I'm digging it. What do you guys think? What do you think? Let me go back onto the other side. See what you guys. Oh wait, I think I missed some things. OJ, I missed your super chat. Sorry about that, man. And so did I missed Rich too. Thank you on for the comments on the 50K. I appreciate it. And then we got, let's see, Melvin. I saw that one. And then Jason, let's see, are those black, blue, and white blanks I saw a few minutes ago for sale? Black, blue. No, those are not for sale, sorry. Those ones were a custom order. I don't usually do them, but for customers that I've had for a long time, I do. So anyway, what do you guys think about it? Not too bad. Let's see here. I'm missing chats here. You like the kit? Nice. Sweet. Nice. Yeah, I think it is a pretty good color. Like, I think the kit is a good kit for this purple and orange thing. I'm not a big fan of gold a lot of times. I don't really like gold components. This is one of the few kits that I really, if you have the right blank, it really goes good with it, kind of thing. Pen kit sellers in Europe. Yes. Well, what's the name of that one? It's such a weird name. What is the name of the one that Dan? Somebody help me out. There's you guys. The one in England. It's I can't think of the name of it. Yeah, there's a lot of places in the UK for sure. What is the name that I can't think? It's like a. I can't think of it. I'm totally blank. It's on the tip of my tongue, but it's kind of a weirdish name. It's just not rolling off. Let's see here. Is there a way to true up out of balance buffing wheels? I've had that issue myself. Really, I think the way that you need to do it is to try and get well, there are little things that can go in, like if the hole's too big for the nut that you have it on. Basically, if the wheel isn't lined up correctly with something, then it's gonna kind of wobble and stuff. I've had the same problem even with things that are supposedly, made for it. But they do sell like little bushings that can go through a wheel, and then you can put a nut, like a screw, through that. The other thing that I have that helps a little bit, but I've had issues with with other things, with certain wheels wobbling on it. I'm going to pull it out for you. It's called a, oh shoot, I don't even know what the name of this thing was. A tapered mandrel, or I don't know, mandrel buff thing. And it just, technically, I don't even think with this big plastic thing, I don't think that's really the way that you're supposed to do it, but it just spins on to this tapered mandrel. And that's actually not a bad way to go. You can put kind of any wheel on one of those tapered mandrels. I got this buffing wheel and that little tapered mandrel thing. It doesn't have the Morse taper. I got this Morse tapered thing. You can see there's a couple of set screws. So this part that goes in the headstock, I got from Beal. And then this part with the tapered thing, I got from McMaster Car, along with the string buff. So that might be a way to kind of get it from wobbling. Otherwise, you really need to figure out a way to get the wheel centered, I think. And I don't know for sure. I'm not an expert on that. The other thing you could try to do is, I actually did get some buffing wheel cleaning utensil things. I guess I didn't really mention this. One way that I do it, you just get a piece of like wood or something like that and just use like 80 grit sandpaper. That'll kind of clean the wheel and it may kind of true it up. Another way to go is a buffing wheel rake. I forget, I don't know who mentioned this one. This works really well for cleaning your wheels. I think Ray mentioned one of these. It's like a spur. I didn't really find this to be particularly useful. I think they're more used for buffing pads, like for like car, polishing. I don't think I don't know. It didn't seem to really work for buffing wheels that well, but the rake thing did. That may kind of true it up, but I don't know that that's really going to fix the problem if it's not centered on, whatever mandrel. I think that's really how you have to do it. No, not Buford Inc. is one. Shoot, what is the? It starts with an M. Mervyn. Taylor's Murfield. There, there it is. Taylor's Murfield. I couldn't think of the name of that. Here, I'll give you a link to that one. Taylor's Murfield. They got pen kits. They got all kinds of stuff. Oh, Kim said it. Taylor's Murfield. Yeah, I met Dan. Dan, right? I think it's Dan. I met him. He runs it. Let's see here. Yeah, Buford Inc. has good stuff too. Turner's Warehouse sells some of the Buford Inc. kits, I think. So, and I guess Axminster might. I'm not sure. Yeah. An hour on buffing. There's not that much I don't necessarily know that much about buffing. I mean, really, I do the simple things. I use the Tripoli wheel and the white diamond on that, and now I kind of use the buffing or the car polish. But you kind of need to figure out the right speed. You don't really need to go super fast. I guess that's a tip. I don't know. And it's all of these things, polishing, sanding, all these things, whether it be buffing wheels or car polish or plastic polish or sandpaper or, Zona paper or, micro mesh. No matter what you're doing, it's all just successive grits. Just if you think about it that way, you're putting a higher and higher and higher grit until you can't see the scratches anymore. And I've kind of delved a little bit into, some of the super high gloss polishes like car polishes and stuff. And I do think that it works okay. It just, there's so many different things out there that I can't make heads or tails of a lot of the different products. So, the Tripoli and the white diamond, really you could stop at the white diamond wheel and probably be good. I do think that you get a little bit more gloss if you hit it with a car polish on a buffing wheel. So I don't know. I don't know that I could. I don't know that I can really. I don't know that I really know enough about buffing to really give a good demo. It's one of those things. I don't know. So yeah, I've heard of ceramic, like the ceramic polishes. I don't know. A lot of this stuff kind of almost sounds a little bit gimmicky sometimes. I don't know. The other problem is a lot of times I think with the ceramic thing, it's talking about like staying. I've seen like videos. I've looked into that. They're more worried about water, it keeping water off, and that's like the waxes and the polishes. That's more like keeping water from like like it's supposed to beat up and run off your car. I don't know how that really, what's the point of that on a pen? I don't know if we need that kind of stuff in turning. I don't know how useful it is. So I don't know. The thing is, I would like I would personally like to hear somebody that really knows what they're talking about, has been doing polishing for a long time, like is a professional polisher. I would love to hear someone else. I'd like to sit in on a demo or something like that, a talk of them kind of explaining things. As long as you could get them to talk about it in terms of, alumilite or resin, resin casting stuff and for us. That's what I haven't really found, is there's a lot of people that know polishing, but they polish rocks. And so I don't know, it's not exactly the same thing, so. Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. The big thing with buffing, I guess, I don't know, and this is the thing, like I'm pretty good at it. It just seemed pretty natural and easy to me. I get the most consistently good results when I'm buffing, for the most part, on just about everything. However, you have to get the scratches have to get up to a certain point, and at that point, the buffing wheels will take care of the rest. So it may not really be that you need to learn how to do buffing. It may be that you need to make sure that you're getting the sanding up to a certain grit. And that's where I run into issues, because if I don't sand well, then buffing doesn't do anything, because it can only take out a certain grit level. So anyway, yeah. Oh, Alex is out of here. Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what else I can really explain about that. The big thing with buffing is I just recommend, try it out. Get some buffing wheels. It sounds like you probably have some, but just kind of play with some different things. Try some different speeds. Get a few blanks ready and see what's going on. But it didn't really take me that long to kind of figure it out. And I don't know if what I have found is there are just some people have a propensity to be good at micro mesh or car polishes or pastes. I still don't get pastes with resin cast stuff. I'm not good at it. I don't find that I get particularly good results necessarily. So I don't know, buffing works for me. If it doesn't work for you, then, maybe try something different. Who knows? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if Keith necessarily, I don't know that he knows more than anybody else. No, I've never really done any metal polishing either, so I don't really, it's not like I have experience. I've never done like, you have like metal and then you have like stone, like jewelry stuff. All I've done is, I'm pretty good at polishing pen blanks. I guess that's the big thing. So anyway, guys, I think I'm going to get going here. I need to get this chucked back up on the lathe, turn this little nib off, and start sanding. I got a lot of sanding to do on this thing, but it's coming together. I'm pretty excited, and I'm super excited about this pen. So we'll see if I can get, I've been trying to have Gretchen list things that I make, because I usually just don't have enough time. I forget to get things listed, but I might try and get this thing listed on my website eventually if she has time. We'll see. Hopefully her busy season is the summer, so hopefully she'll start kind of sliding down the thing and start getting some of these things that I make listed. But be keeping your eyes out. Let's see, I should have a video. Before we go, so Friday's stream is the Patreon stream. So if you're not a patron, that one's like a private one for the patrons only, but I'm gonna replay it or repost it public, the demo part afterwards, like a week later. But for everybody that's a patron, or if you'd like to join the patron family, you can do so at patreon.com/nvwoodworks. And we do I do a demo kind of thing first for like about half an hour, maybe an hour. And then the second half of those are like a Q&A and hangout for patrons. So that's coming up Friday. And then let's see here. And then Sunday, I should have another video out. I shot a video. I just need to get it edited. So be looking for that. So the regular streams, the next one's going to be next week. So be looking for that. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. Seeing this pen come together. I have the blanks. There's 5 of these. If you want to grab one of these, there's actually a link in the show notes already. There's 5 of them left, the same one that I turned tonight. And then there's one of these guys with the packing material in it. And that's up on my website as well. So head over there if you want to grab those guys. But other than that, I hope everybody has a great rest of the week and a great weekend. And I will see you guys in the comments on my video on Sunday. And then other than that, I'll see you guys next week for another live stream. We'll have to see what I'm up to next week. I'm not sure yet. So I'll let you guys know. Keep your eyes peeled on Instagram and Facebook. I'll let you know what the schedule is. So let's see here. Did I miss any other questions before I get going here? I don't think so. Let's see here. Don't think so. All right. So have a great night, guys. Thanks for joining the fun, and I will see you on the next stream.